So we've been looking for days, and we finally have gotten the permission to come out onto some of the Cree land where we're in a part of the forest that's never been cut before. So we're in a mature forest, and one of the signs of a mature forest is that you're going to see a lot of downed trees. Here in the boreal forest, we're so far north, get a lot of snow, get a lot of ice and a lot of wind in the winter, right, Jean-Claude?
Yeah.
And that brings down mature trees. It also brings down other trees maybe that aren't as healthy. The fact of the matter is that we want to see this kind of structure in forests because this creates microenvironments for other flora and fauna to live. It also decomposes into organic content for the soils. So this is a very healthy forest environment that we're looking at, and it's great to be in an area that's never been cut before. And so what we're hearing from the local people is that the balsam fir like to grow on the hilltops, which tells you something about their ecological niche too and what their needs are. So this is larch tamarack, this is Labrador tea, and this is black spruce. These are young black spruce.
And
so,
balsam fir over here.
And balsam fir where, okay, so literally standing around us is right here. There's 4 species that can be distilled into essential oils and of course made into other medical.
Jack pine.
And you got a jack pine? What's happening right as we're going up this hill? The trees are transitioning to balsam fir. In here.
Okay, on peut voir une régénération en sapin avec du bouleau parce qu'on retrouve ça beaucoup avec une pente. C'est une coupe qui a eu lieu fait peut-être une trentaine d'années. La régénération se passe tout en sapin.
Natural regeneration, this is not planted.
Exactly.
And we know that because of looking at how they're spaced and the age structure. There's some a little older. They're not all the same age. They're not in rows. They're not
exactly.
uniform.
You will recognize easily if they're in rows. You will see the pattern. Yeah.
Nice. And about 30 years ago, this was cut. And then it's been left alone for 30 years. This is naturally regenerated up here. How about down below in the black spruce? Is that natural regeneration as well?
Yes, there's not planted too.
Okay, so some areas are replanted and some areas are left to regenerate.
Exactly.
Yep.
You know, when I was a cut foreman in Ontario, I'd go out and I'd put the flags in the field for the machines. You know, so we would spend maybe a month or a month and a half in the springtime just putting in all the flagging for the roads and the cut blocks and stuff like that. And that was actually a nice time for me, you know, because it was quiet, forest, there was lots of animals and stuff around. Then as a cut foreman, I'd go back there 2 weeks later and it's all on the ground. Bang, gone. Whole forest. It's like, wow. You don't look at the forest. You can't see the forest for the trees. So that's why, for me personally, I made a shift. I got out of cut operations and went to silviculture operations. So it was like a career shift for me at that time. Because of that reason, I didn't like what I saw. So I've been doing this long enough now that I can go back and see plantations that we planted that are now a forest now. So that makes you feel like, whoa, we've actually done something correct here, you know. You know, having said that, like the type of system that you cut is going to dictate really what the forest is going to look like afterwards.
So we're here by the side of the road near Chibougamau in northern Quebec province, Canada. What you can see behind me is young balsam fir trees, which are about 8 to 10 years old now. The government clears strips of forest on either side of the road, which helps increase the amount of sunlight on the road to melt ice and reduce the number of overall traffic accidents. Now normally, when these trees are cut down, they're simply dragged into the forest and left to decompose. However, in this system, what's happening is the trees are being harvested and distilled into essential oils. This is a great example of closing a loop, which uses a waste product to create something that is valuable and useful. And closing loops is critical because it helps increase the overall efficiency and sustainability of the system.
Logs come from the forest. They are slashed, so cut to 9-foot logs. After that, they go to the different debarkers. The smaller pieces, shorter pieces, I should say, for the debarkers, they go in the drum, big drum that we saw.
Okay.
So they're also debarked. Debarking is the first step, and after that, the logs are going to the sawmilling machines.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so the bark is not used by your company, it's sold to the electric generating facility, the Chappie.
Yeah, which is 40 kilometers or so away from here.
Right.
It's all sold to them.
Yep. So the bark now is getting a second stop before going through the electric generating facility, right? So Jean-Claude's distilling the bark into essential oil, and then the spent bark goes into the cogen.
Yeah.
So it's really a win-win.
Yeah.
Great. Today we're in Quebec, Canada, and we're on the active location of a distillery. We're looking at balsam fir bark, which normally in these parts is stripped from timber once it's harvested from the forest. And in this case, we're looking at a company who has taken the bark, which normally would be waste, and they're pulling it out to make essential oils. And then even after they've made essential oils from this bark will go into a cogeneration facility and create electricity. So it's another example of sustainable use of resources, precious resources, which are trees, and optimizing and closing loops. So why do they want bark for essential oils? Well, if you can see here in the sunlight shining, there's still resin in this bark. This is where the resin canals are for the balsam fir tree. They're in the bark. They're not in the deeper wood. So they're after this bark. And distilling this bark will yield gorgeous essential oils. Okay, so we're at the Chappie Cogen facility here in Quebec, Canada. And we're with the plant manager today and the head of Borea. And we're having a discussion about the carbon neutrality of Borea's distillation process.
So the synergy is pretty simple. Jean-Claude or Borea is using the steam we produce at the plant to extract essential oil from the biomass. And after the biomass had been used, he resent it to us, so we produce the same steam we are sending him with the biomass supplier. So there is a closed loop on what we do.
So we're inside of a turbine right here, essentially. And this is from the cogeneration facility here. And we're checking it out because one of the cool things that allows companies to reuse the steam from this cogen facility is because it has to have pure, perfect steam. It has to be completely clean. And so we're looking at the baffles, which are showing us perfect, solid, no dings, nothing, because the steam has always been just clean, pure water.
Écoutez, la forêt boréale est d'une importance capitale pour une région comme ici. On voit ici le paysage qui nous entoure. Vous savez, les Jamésiens et les Cris, depuis le 1er janvier 2014, gèrent le territoire en commun. L'ancienne municipalité de la baie James et maintenant le gouvernement régional EU-Itchi-Baie-James. Puis les deux communautés, Jamésiens et Cris, se sont trouvées beaucoup de communautés d'intérêt, on peut dire, concernant la forêt. Avoir une exploitation qui soit durable de la forêt et puis qui permet en même temps d'avoir des emplois et puis de conserver la richesse naturelle.
Dans sous ces réflexions, les gens, dans toutes ces instructions, les ministères doivent prendre en compte le développement durable. On sait que le développement durable, c'est le côté social, c'est le côté environnemental, mais aussi le côté économique. Alors, on va faire des plans forestiers pour ensuite aller replanter dans la forêt boréale. Ce qu'il faut comprendre, c'est que dans la forêt boréale du nord du Québec, on plante environ 20 millions de plants annuellement. Et ces plants forestiers-là viennent du sud du Québec. Alors, si on peut les produire sur place, au niveau de la production de gaz à effet de serre, évidemment, il y a une économie au niveau environnemental, mais il y a aussi une économie parce qu'on peut faire travailler des gens du nord, donc des Jamésiens et des Cris, pour pouvoir faire tout ça. Donc, on voit que c'est vraiment circulaire dans le sens que le déchet, le résidu d'une industrie devient l'intrant d'une autre industrie. Et c'est un cercle qui continue.
And there you have it. That's how balsam fir essential oils are being made here in Quebec, Canada.